What is going on, guys? In this video, I'll be taking a look at the recently added Nissan 300ZX. That's part of the imported story, so if you guys do want to get this vehicle, you will have to complete that story. Luckily, I don't think it's as bad as some of the other ones we have seen. There's some long steps in there, like 25 to like 30 miles or so for some of them, but I did think it was pretty fun, and luckily a lot of them are also like 5 to 10 miles apart as well. But I'll leave a tag on the screen if you guys are interested in completing that, because I think a lot of people have been waiting for this car to be added into the game. But anyway, let's go jump into the customization. But now, jumping right into this, guys, let's start right off with the colors, because there's actually a lot of official colors you can put on the car here. Now, if you guys happen to not like any of these, you can also do the regular colors in the game that are basically available on all the other cars as well, like metallic or chrome and stuff like that. But there's a lot of official colors available for the Nissan, which is pretty awesome to see. So for me, I actually decided to go with this blue color on this car because I think it makes it look really nice. Even with the chrome rims, the car just looks really good like this. I think it like pops. Now let's go customize it more. So jumping into the visual parts on the Nissan now, let's first take a look at the hoods. So we have the first one there. Obviously, that's the stock hood. Then we have the carbon one. Looks actually kind of nice on there. Then we're going to have this one with like the vents in there. Not seeing any detail on the vents. Then we're going to have the carbon version of that hood. And now moving over to the front bumpers available on the car. Now, if I had to guess, a lot of these bumpers normally change the headlights a little bit and or a piece of the bumper. And there's like different versions of each one. So this one's going to change the headlights there. Then the headlights will change again. And those actually look different. Now, I actually kind of like how this one looks. I'm going to throw this one on there for now. Going over to the fifth one makes the headlights darker. That actually looks nice too. I might as well just buy all of them. Then moving over to the next one. Then we're going to have the next one after that, which this one actually has a really nice splitter on the front, which I don't know about you guys, but sometimes the front bumpers and the splitters on some of these cars look pretty bad, to be honest. And we're going to move over to the next one there. Darkens the headlights. Does that one to it. Then we're going to have the last one, which actually this one looks pretty nice on the car as well. It has like the little tow hook on the front. Got the painted splitter on the bottom there, and then it's going to change the headlights. And now moving over to the front fender. Now you can actually wide body this car, but personally I'm going to leave it completely stock, even though the wide body on this thing does look pretty nice here. I mean, just take a look at that. It actually fits it good. Doesn't look really weird like that truck from GTA where the fenders stick out all the way and the tires are still in there. I really don't understand that. But luckily the wide body on this car looks pretty good, but I also want to leave it stock because we're waiting for the one in the Summit that's coming out next month. That car looks absolutely insane. Moving over to the rims, I'm probably going to leave these on there as well, but you guys can also do the white ones. Then obviously all the rims in the game that I really don't like at all. And then for the caliper color, I'm probably going to end up going with yellow on this because I think yellow and blue look really good together. Then moving over, we will have the side mirrors. Don't really like how those look, and then basically just the carbon version of that. I would have liked to see like a carbon version of the regular mirrors, but then again, that really wouldn't make any sense. Then moving over to the skirts. Not too bad looking. Actually, I kind of like that. There's the other one, make it blue there on the bottom. And then the last skirt here, I'm not really digging this one too much, but depending on the front bumper you guys have on the car, this actually might look pretty cool on there. So I'm going to leave that off, though, and end up going with the second one. Moving over to the rear fender. Now, you can also widen out the back of the car, obviously, because you can do the front. If you can only do the front, that would look insanely weird. But like I said, it actually does look pretty nice on the car overall. And now moving over to the rear wing. So here's the first one the car comes with. Here's the second wing. Not really liking that one too much. Then we have the splitter that's carbon on the top there. Then the fourth one, which basically turns that black. I kind of like that. I'll throw that one on there for now. Here's the fifth wing there. These actually don't look too bad on the car overall. I kind of like them, but I'm not really digging them too much. I probably won't put them on the vehicle. Then here are the rear bumpers. So that's the stock bumper there. Moving over to the second one. Basically blacks out the taillights there. Actually looks pretty cool. Then we're going to have that one. Not really liking that too much. So we're going to have the next one there. I actually like how the exhaust looks on this, so I'll end up probably going with this one. Let's go with that there. Here's the sixth one, which changes those taillights there. And here's the next one, which puts a big splitter on the back, which I think that's where the skirt would come in. If you guys want to put the other skirt on the car, I feel like it would actually fit like something like this if you guys wanted to do that. Black taillights and that one again. Here's the other bumper. Kind of like that. It's not too bad looking. I just not really digging that too much. And here's the other one there. Then the last couple bumpers here are going to make the exhaust look pretty interesting, plus the splitter on the back there actually looks really nice. Kind of gives it like a race car vibe there. I kind of like that. Then there's the final one. Then finally, all you could do is the interior color, which I'll probably just end up leaving this completely stock, not really caring too much for that. But let's go over and make it blue there. So for me, I actually decided to go with the blue stitching around the interior and the seats there. I think that looks really nice. And for the material upgrade, I went with the second one to give it like that nice touch. But I'm honestly really excited to drive this car, guys. It does look really good. I'm sure a lot of people are happy to see the 300ZX in the game, and we all know the one coming in the Summit is going to be insane, but having the regular car is pretty awesome. I can't wait to see how this thing actually does in the street class. But anyway, guys, let's go do an outside look on the new 300ZX. Then let's do a top speed run because I want to see what this car can actually get to, and then let's take it into a street race to really see how this thing really performs. So now taking an outside look at the new 300ZX, we can all agree this car looks amazing. I'm sure many people, like I mentioned before, are insanely excited for the Summit one, but let's take a listen. Gotta love that sound. And then moving over to the interior of the car also looks pretty nice as well. Kind of like the detail in there. See the shifter. Looks pretty nice. Obviously the RPM and then the miles per hour thing moves. Let's go immediately drive this thing. So from the looks of it, this car will obviously be a 5-speed, so if you guys are in manual, this might be a little hard to get used to, which I was noticing a little bit driving it. But with the settings I have on the vehicle currently, I have to admit, it's handling really nicely. What in the world? Okay, I thought that was a pedestrian at first, but it was actually a player. That really confused me. Let's take a left here. So the brakes seem pretty good there. So I noticed with these cars, so for example, this thing is a 5-speed, so I noticed the car looks like it's actually maxing out speed, but it's not. It can keep accelerating even past what it's showing, so do keep that in mind if you guys are in manual. But now after taking this thing for a little short test drive, let's see what the top speed of this car actually is. So let's accelerate there. I'm actually in second. I'll show you guys right now. See how it keeps accelerating past that. I'll go into 3 and show this again so you guys can see. So it keeps accelerating even past that all the way to 140. But anyway, let's see what this car can actually get to. So I gotta admit, even with the weird acceleration, this thing still seems pretty fast. I also kind of like how it handles as well. I will do a little bit more tweaking on it, but I'll show my settings at the end of the video if you guys want to test them out. I would say right now they are pretty solid though. Let's go this way here and not hit anything. So here's the top speed run right now. 238, 239 miles an hour is probably going to be the best it can do there, which is pretty decent. I mean, it's kind of lower for some of the cars. Some of the other ones do like 250, but 238 should be just fine, especially if the track isn't too insanely long. Let's head this way and take a left there. Downshift, hit the brakes. Now I noticed I'm going to actually do a brake test real fast, so let's go back this way. So for the brake test, I decided to do like 200 miles an hour or so and then hit the brakes without downshifting. So let's speed up here. Almost at 200 miles an hour. Now let's hit the brakes. That took a good amount of time to stop. So they're obviously not the greatest, but luckily they're also not the worst. Now let's jump into a race to see how this car actually performs. So jumping into the street race test with the new Nissan 300ZX, I'm not going to lie, this car is actually really fun to use. Now I'm sure many people are wondering, well, how does it stack up against like the Superleggera? Now I'm going to be honest, it's probably not as good, but I really do think a lot of the cars being added are really not going to be as great as that one. But luckily these cars can still be really fun, and I'm definitely planning on using this thing in the up-and-coming Summits as well. I'm actually planning on using all bad vehicles now in the new Summit, so definitely keep that in mind, guys. I'm not going to be using any of the new cars. I just really want to test out the older ones and or cars that are just not that great to see if they actually can be used in Summits, just in case somebody might not have the best cars in the game. Now jumping into the ZX, well, one thing I have noticed is this car does perform very nicely. The overall handling is actually really good. I thought it was going to be kind of bad. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't expecting this car to be as good as it is. The handling is very good on it, and it seems to get around turns very nicely. Obviously it's a 5-speed, so shifting it in manual might be a little weird, but so far I can actually see it's pretty good for the most part, downshifting back there. So right there, for example, I noticed about the transmissions in this game when you try to downshift into a certain gear, depending on how the transmission is laid out, you might have a little issues. Like I downshifted back in the second there. So right there, for example, I noticed about the transmissions in this game when you try to downshift into a certain gear, depending on how the transmission is laid out, you might have a little issues. Like I downshifted back in the second there. So if you guys are wondering, is this car actually worth going after? To be honest, I highly recommend going after the 300ZX. I mean, I've honestly really been enjoying this car a lot. It's a lot of fun to drive, and it's actually really good from what I can see so far. Is it going to be the greatest street car in the game? Probably not, but at least it could be really fun to use even on up-and-coming stories and stuff like that. And or if you guys just want to grind races for parts or like use different sets and test them out. But I'll be doing more testing on that in future Summits, and I'll see really what this thing can do. I'm currently off-roading it at the moment. Maybe we will see a rally raid version of it in the future. But anyway, guys, I highly recommend checking this car out and definitely checking out the story as well, because I really do like the 300ZX. I think a lot of people really love this car, and I think a lot of JDM fans will definitely go after this vehicle because it is a really good looking car. I love it, and it's a twin turbo model, which is awesome. Plus it's really fun to drive around, and it's overall just a really cool looking vehicle. Anyway, let me know what you guys think of the new 300ZX in the comments below. I mean, I'm really loving just the engine sound alone, and overall driving this car is just a really good time. But anyway, here are the settings I'm running on my car currently that make this thing turn really well.